Morning, fellow zombies. Are we alive yet? Are we awake yet? I'm still getting there myself. 3:02 in the morning, West Coast time. It is Wednesday, the 18th of September, 2024. I'm very confused. Weaver John C. of Roseman, California. Morning, guys. Um, I'm way off on prices these days. I'm still trying to figure out how much it costs for a can of Coke, let alone for a bottle of soda. I haven't been in the supermarkets in a hell of a long while, depending upon food deliveries left and right. And I didn't even realize how fluctuating market prices are even for a lousy can of Coke. A long time ago, when I was growing up as a kid, it'd be about 50, 75 cents a can. Or how about Coke in a Coke bottle, in a glass bottle? Cokes are normally supposed to be a treat, but sometimes you use them as a necessity. And you have to save up for it, I guess. But these days, you really have to save up for it. But try this one. There's a food, a special type of a delicacy, pastry that, hear me out on this one, that the Chinese would use on their holidays. One of them is the Autumn Festival coming up in next month, I think. But they have this food product that's been trying to mass produce like crazy, but hardly anybody can afford the damn thing, even when they're rich. Last year they said, and the year before that, they could afford it because prices were down. Wages were stable enough, I guess, that they're actually able to afford this luxury item. Now, they can't buy this product called moon pies. No, scratch. Moon cakes. Various forms. And this one company actually makes all these forms of this pastry filled with stuff in it. I haven't seen it. I've heard about it. Only on a video that I came across on YouTube this morning. Coming from China, apparently. Not an indoctrination, but something concerning about their wages compared to our wages in the form of trying to buy celebratory food for the autumn festival in their country, and they can't get it. Don't mind me this morning. I've got bug war happening right now as it is. So. But what I'm trying to say is they can't buy this stuff. We have bakeries in the United States that can try to put some of that stuff out there for us and for the Chinese community to celebrate their holidays. But in China, they can't afford it. Not this year anyway. It's not the usual stock. It's not the usual amount. It's just they can't afford it since July. Prices probably have gone up or their wages have gone down. That a luxury item is impossible for them, or just about. Even for business people are having an issue with it. Which makes me try to compare it to the bottle of Coke. I don't know if it's a kid. If you actually had 50 cents jingling in your pocket, you were able to buy a can of Coke. Or let alone 25 cents, you were able to buy a can of Coke. That was a long time ago. These days, it's like $2.50, $3 a can. Or let alone a bottle, a 16-ounce bottle, or almost $5 for that kind of bottle. Price is varying every time I keep going through the system here. Going through DoorDash, I'm trying to just get one can of Coke. If I wanted one, if I wanted just a bottle of Coke, So I typed out Coca-Cola in a search engine in there. For a 12 ounce of Coke, if it was glass bottle and bottled in Mexico, they use different sweeteners than we do in America. $2.25 for a 12 ounce. Slightly larger one for the United States would be $2.49 out here in California, I guess. $2.49 for a 1.25 liter. Larger bottle than the smaller ones. But what if I just wanted a small can of Coke? I can't even get that information. But if I wanted to get a 12 pack or a 6 pack of the damn stuff, through DoorDash. Well, it doesn't do the 12 pack, does it? Actually, it doesn't do the. There we go. Okay. 7.5 ounce for the Sixers. $7.19 for it. For a 6 pack. Used to cost $4 or $5 just for a 6 pack. Why the hell have the prices gone up? Sugar prices, and if there's been problems with the sugar, that's a different story altogether. Then I can understand supply and demand kicking in. And if I would divide 719 into 6, that would give me a cost unit on that one, wouldn't it? So I'm getting a 7.19 divided by 6. So it ought to be about $1.20 for a can of Coke. I guess some people think that's normal. I'm probably getting too damn old for craving such an item. Let me get my water. Drinking Gatorade powder like crazy that I've forgotten the taste of a Coke. Or let alone what the thing is of drinking Coke all the time. My brother would drink it all the time. I would remember last several years of his life, actually the last few years of his life, living out here in Roseman, that we would go out and collect cans. Mostly I would collect cans. Be one among those few people out there who would scour areas for cans and bring them back home. And then after about 2 or 3 weeks, we'd have enough for recycling. We would have a box that we would have in one particular area of the apartment. I would look at where we had that box stayed at, and we would toss in our Coke bottles, any other kind of bottles that we would get that are recyclable, sort them out, bag them up, and bring them over to the recycling centers. Actually, when they were actually working as a recycling center, and maybe I'd get about $20 if I was lucky enough to get me. He always says, give me a 6 pack. I'll nurse a can if he had to, and he would. A gallon of milk, but mostly get him a pack of smokes. And it would barely cover that. It would have maybe about $1 or $2 left if we were lucky enough. Just to give him a pack of smokes. But he would also get the Coke, the Coca-Cola. And I would get the gallon of milk that we would need for another week. But I was always amazed of how much they would cost. Not to mention the bottles. For a bottle of soda, for a bottle of soda, $8.39 for a 6 pack. I want to see something. $8.39 divided by 6. So yeah, get in there. Thank you. 8.39 divided by 6. $1.40 for a bottle of soda. Sounds about right these days. We would consider these luxury items, or almost necessity, depending upon how you're looking at the sodas. I mean, if you're into full on buying sodas left and right, and I'm not, it adds up. Now, I can get large containers of Gatorade powder and drinking that stuff up. Almost becomes a necessity, especially when I'm mixing it with Tang. Tang I can get on EBT and Gatorade if I'm lucky enough, either EBT or regular. But still, buy themselves about 30, 35 bucks roughly. But it would last 2 or 3 weeks if I was stretching enough and not full gulping the stuff down like it was water. But I was just thrown off by the Chinese economy concerning about a delicate tradition that they would pay for. Now, I focus on Coca-Cola because to me, I thought it was a luxury item these days, not an absolute necessity. What do we consider an absolute luxury and absolute necessity? Well, if you haven't looked at food prices that you go into the fast food places, that would be a luxury item these days. I mean, we used to treat it as almost a constant food thing when we could afford the value meals left and right. Say, for example, if I happen to use the big M word on them at McDonald's. Trying to be comparable to everybody else. They used to have value menus a long time ago where $6 or $7 or less than that, you can get yourself an adequate hamburger or cheeseburger, maybe a Big Mac, fries, and soda. That was decades ago. $6 for a cheeseburger or worse. Let me go through DoorDash on that one. Let me go through the DoorDash. Okay, let's go to home on this one. Okay, fast food. Now, nobody's open up at 3 o'clock in the morning, okay? 3:14 in the morning, nobody's open up. But I just want to get the price comparisons here. We got Jack in the Box, and we got the Big Mac. Not as in a sandwich, but we're talking about McDonald's. Okay. Well, that's the Big Mick, I should call it. Okay, so the Big Mac is coming up on DoorDash. Now, try this one. I'm going through the let's see. The switch, because it's morning right now, they got the breakfast crab up there. And I have a problem. Egg McMuffin, I remember when those damn things were about like $1.50, but that was back in the junior high days, back in the 80s. We're talking about 2024. And it's $6.89 for a sausage egg McMuffin. I'm scratching my head on that one because I remember those damn things a lot cheaper. Maybe about $4 or $5, roughly. That was only about a few years ago, even I think before COVID kicked. Hash browns used to be about $1.50 or less. For $5, you would get yourself either a small juice glass and or coffee, and then you get this value menu of a sausage McMuffin with egg. Of course, you have to have cheese on the thing. Or how about just a regular egg McMuffin with a Canadian ham in it? About the same price. But the hash browns wouldn't be $3.79 a piece. No, they'd be less than that. A deluxe breakfast with McMuffin, or actually with a muffin on it. Right now it's $10.39. I remember that damn thing being about $5 or $6, half the price, a long time ago. So you spend about $11 for a small stack of pancakes, and maybe about one small lump of a flattened sausage, and maybe one egg in there. It costs you $11 for that shit? So wonder I don't go over to the fast food anymore. They got a device out there that actually makes those eggs that you would eat on an Egg McMuffin. If I happen to get myself a roll of muffins, I could do it. I can make myself an Egg McMuffin. I can get me a package of hash browns and be a lot cheaper than McDonald's. Of course, in bulk, if I'm selling it that way, probably make a lot more that way and going to the grocery stores. But you go to the fast food for convenience, right? Not when they're going to be charging you an arm and leg for that crap. That's for damn sure. Well, how about just a sausage McMuffin? Okay, it was $5.09. I mean, 150, 250 I can understand, but 5.09, jeez. We would consider that almost necessity on some occasions, but for me, it's worse. I mean, I'm getting uh, packages of smaller sausages. I can do an egg if I can cook it properly enough, and I can fix something like that. But $5 just for an egg sandwich like that, shit. Or actually, a sausage McMuffin without the egg on the damn thing. I look at the stuff and it makes me hungry as hell looking at it this morning. But the problem is I can't afford this shit. When you're living on a tight fixed budget, you have to account for what you have, how much you're going to be spending per month or per day, compared to how much your bills are, and you do the economics in your head all the damn time of what you can and can't afford. And I'm barely making by on it, but I'm surviving on it. I'm doing okay on that. But I'm comparing something like a what would we consider a traditional holiday food? What would you consider a holiday food for some kind of holiday? Well, July 4th when it comes up every year, we always have hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken, grilled either not, or fried chicken, or even pizza. We're lucky enough to be tacos in certain regions. Okay. Christmas comes around. This is the one that should be the holiday food I should have been focusing on. Because in about a few months we're going to be celebrating Christmas. Less than how many days we got left? Well, about 97 days left until Christmas from this day, roughly. We're going to be celebrating it with holiday feasting and foods. The traditional fruit cake. Oh, Lord Almighty, help us with that one. How much are fruit cake prices, huh? If you're going to be shopping for this damn stuff, depending on where you go through, is 40 to $60, depending on where you're going to get it. Certain types of fruitcake out there. Try this one. Amazon. Popular, isn't it? 24.95. Okay. That tells me something right there. eBay sells as far as 40 or $50 for same type of fruitcake. Are you making enough money just to get fruitcake? What else would we get? Sugar cookies. Okay. Let's go for the Danish cookies. Okay. Let's go for that one. Royal Dansk. Remember those things? Blue boxes. blue tins vary from where you get it from. On eBay, about $10, all the way through Amazon, about $24 for those things. Depending on how large you're getting. I mean, 24 ounce will cost you a good $20 for that damn thing, just for cookies. Just for cookies. Hard to find these things on regular places. Actually, here we go. Walmart's got them for $7.45. How much you got to work just to get that one? Maybe less than an hour's worth of page just to get some cookies for holidays or just regular. What do we consider? What do I consider a holiday feast or tradition? Apple or pies? Well, I can't fix them because I haven't got a refrigerator. Actually, I've got a refrigerator, I just don't have an oven working. So I have to get the stuff. Boy, that one. Limited editions. How about this one? Pumpkin pie. Remind me never again to get them. It's not the expenses, it's the taste. I can't stand them. I got a few boxes left. They're from last year's. I haven't tried. I'm afraid to. Limited edition collector's items for pumpkin flavored Pop-Tarts. And they're coming. They're coming if they're not here already. So let's see. Pumpkin pie. How much would they be? Depending on where you're buying it from. You want to get the stuff that's older in time. About $10 on eBay. Larger boxes, more storage, $20 or $30, depending on where you're getting it, including eBay. Right now, that's about $10 on Amazon. Pumpkin pie flavored. Yeah. A larger limited edition, about $17, $18 on Amazon. As I said before, I tried it. Blech. This is our equivalent to the moon pies in China. We could try affording such luxuries if we can. But for some of the Chinese who actually have issues with their own payment system, how much they're actually getting, or they can barely afford ramen sometimes. I'm basing this off of one particular video I got, and I'm scratching my head and trying to figure out if this thing is legitimate or not. It's called the it's called the China Observer. This damn thing has had over 163,000 views on it. The title goes, 100 million people in China can't afford mooncakes. They pile up. It's like dealing with our own companies that give us the traditional foods that are jacking up the prices left and right that we can't even afford. Said before, for fast food, they are jacked up like crazy. Just for 3 small pancake patties, or just about 1 sausage patty, and just 1 egg cracked, and maybe you're lucky you have a muffin in there, for $10 or $11 for the damn thing. Hash brown, if they actually did include it, but you have to buy that separately, don't you? I can get me. Yeah. I got this protected, so I keep the bugs out of the damn thing, keep it fresh enough. This is pancake mix. About several bucks, but I can get me pancakes out of this damn thing. For eggs, I buy a dozen. Let me see something. Yeah, hold on. I want to get the prices of eggs I'm paying for. So I got to go in and get my stuff, get my receipts going. I'm just on a, I'm on a tear. I'm on a tangent right now. Let me see. Because I want to see how much I've been paying for stuff. That's the last time I had eggs. Maybe a few weeks back. Let me see. I'll have to check the receipts on this one. But I'm just wondering this morning of how prices for simple items that we depended upon fluctuate like crazy. And okay, those hash browns I've talked about. TJ Farms hash brown patties, $4.69 for 10 of them. 10 of them. $4.69 for 10. So that's basically nearly 46, 47 cents for a hash brown that you can get off the shelves. I get Lucerne cage-free extra large white eggs, 12 count. $6.49 for one egg. It's 12 for a dozen. That's basically 54 cents an egg. An egg. One egg. 54, almost 55 cents for one egg. And a hash brown. That's $1. Let alone the sausage patties, I would get the smaller damn things. I haven't got that one yet. I haven't pulled up the receipt, but just for an egg sandwich. I'm trying to get comparisons. I'm trying to compare how much a delicacy of a mooncake is that's filled with pastries, filled with stuff in it, whatever you can put into it, of how much they are in China, but also how much they are here. I don't have the pricing for yens. I wouldn't know what the equivalent for that one is. It would take too much time on that one. But I'm just trying to compare our stuff next to theirs. You know what I consider a luxury these days? Ordering stuff through DoorDash for fast food when I can fix it at home, mostly. But I miss a good pizza. It'll cost me $60, not counting the tip. I wanted to get me a large pizza. Just a plain pepperoni. Nothing else. Maybe if I'm lucky enough. Depending which particular place I go to. And if I like them or not. Would I be willing to spend about $3, actually 3 days of DoorDash? I figured about $20 a day on that one. If I'm just doing a conservative at this point. Let's just say we got about 30, 31 days, roughly. So I'll just say 30 days. Times, we got $20. Okay, so oh, come on. Okay. 30 times. Oh, hell, scratch that. Try to get my drift here. Times 30. Okay, $600 per month. If I'm doing $20 a day, if I just maintain $20 a day, with the food prices they are right now, I have to balance that out. A gallon of milk that'll last about 3 days, 3 or 4 days if I'm lucky enough. And not to mention that rotisserie chickens for about bounces between uh, 10 to 14, depending on the price range that's going on like that. Just for a traditional chicken. Whole chicken, raw, about $14 a piece. And yeah, I do go through a lot of chicken for my dog and me. Try to be healthy that way. Flavoring, I keep it to a tradition because I don't want to harm her digestive system much. I'd get a baggage of sausage, but I'd stretch that out sometimes. And the eggs, one massive make meal a day if I had to. It's like 3 eggs with 3 sausages and then maybe about 3 patties. Or even getting a hamburger. It's about $12, $14 a package. I mean, I have to balance this stuff up. If I do 3 days of DoorDash, it's about $60 to $70, depending. And then I have to balance it out if the food's going to be lasting that long or not. There's always a balancing act on that one. Anything for affordable for fancy? How about the fried chicken they would have? Sometimes it's $14 a pound. It's not the 8 pieces. I'm going for chicken tenders. And there's about $12 a pound for potatoes. That costs right there. $30 to $40 for that shit. But if I was going to get $30 to $40 of fast food, that's a few hamburgers right there, plus maybe one large order of fries. Long time ago, $20 would have been feeding a family, but these days, one person. Don't even get me started on Taco Bell. Don't even get me started on Mexican food. Proper Mexican food. I mean, it'd give me a tasting sampler of it. Maybe an enchilada, a taco. In a combination meal, would be about 12 to $14 right there. Spanish rice and refried beans. Side order of chips and salsa. Maybe about 14, $15 right there. Small items. I mean, a large item when I was a lot skinnier and a lot younger, that would have been enough for me. These days, it's like a sampler dish. So I have to go for the cheapest. I go to the store. I get a few cans of refried beans, maybe about $1 or $2 less. You know, $1.50 for that. But that's something. Spanish rice. Now I can do it the old cheap way of getting a can of salsa and throw it into white rice and call it Spanish rice that way. Or I get some of the other packaged stuff they have out there. $1 or $2 for that, and fix my own Spanish rice. Get a small can of carrots and peas, throw it in there. There's my Spanish rice right there. Or tomatoes. I still need that. I try to balance things out in my head of what I can and can't afford, and then see how long it's going to last. Now, as for the hamburger, well, I can use hamburger patties, chop the thing up, throw it in there. But still, I could try seasoning up the hamburger patties with taco mix I still have over here without going to the store. Think cheap, think cheap, think cheap, think cheap. I could try matching something of a restaurant feel. Try is the operative word. Purchase a package of corn tortillas, maybe $2 or $3 if I'm lucky enough. Fry them up. There's my chips. And if I still had salsa, well, or whatever ways I can do it, $20 or $30, I could try making myself a Mexican meal that'll last maybe about 2 or 3 meals out of it, if I'm lucky. But I was talking about the moon pies. I was talking about and comparison in a video that I was watching of how prices are for their own luxuries compared to our luxury. When I see a story on YouTube and this narrator saying that people can't even afford traditional food for a holiday season, as I said before, I had to compare to what I would call, and trust me, it costs a hell of a lot more than that. Maybe I'll go for a second video on that. What do you think?